Welcome to the Art of Decluttering podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Kirsty Ferrugia from Feels Like Home Professional Organisers.
And I'm Amy Revell from Simply Organised. We can't wait to share with you all our tips and tricks to help you declutter and keep your home and family organised.
If you'd like to engage with the podcast further, you can find us at the Art of Decluttering on Facebook.
Let's get started.
You've joined us for episode 42 of the Art of Decluttering. Today we'll be talking about decluttering and organising your photos.
Oh, this is such a big one.
It's massive, right?
I know. I don't know how we're going to fit this into 30 minutes, but we're going to give it a red hot go.
Oh, I think we can. We'll just be talking really fast.
And I think this will be a good one where we can add extra resources online. So if you've got extra things or we've thought of things afterwards, make sure you check out our Facebook page, Art of Decluttering on Facebook, because then you'll be able to get all extra tips and tricks that we've thought about or that other people have.
Yeah, tell us your tricks and tips for decluttering and organising your photos because, as we say, we don't know everything about everything and we're happy to learn. We want to learn from other people. We love learning.
The listener request for this episode, we've actually had it requested by a few people, but Kate Haynes, thank you so much for contacting us to talk to you about photos. We hope you get some great ideas from this week's episode and can share it with some friends as well.
Yay. So there are so many questions to ask yourselves when you're looking at your photos. So we want to encourage you all that you have the permission to do what you want to do with your photos. Permission, people. You have it. You have ours, but more importantly, you have yourselves.
Correct. It's just because your mum didn't keep your childhood photos doesn't mean you do have to. And just because your husband doesn't want to keep his high school photos doesn't mean you can't.
Exactly.
It's up to you.
Don't compare yourself with anybody else. Compare yourself with yourself and figure out what you want to do and what's important to you. There is always grace. There is always freedom here at the Art of Decluttering.
So photos.
Photos.
Do you know in our generation alone, so these are the kind of, because photos can take so many forms.
Yes, they can.
And I kind of came up with a list of different forms that people have used just in our generation, Kirst.
So just in the last 20 years?
Double that.
Maybe.
In the last 40 years, our generation has come away with slides, Polaroids, the film and negative, digital cameras, phone cameras, and most of those work independently of each other. Like there's not an easy way to kind of sync your phone and your digital camera and your slides.
And I know we're not talking about this specifically today, but videos as well come into it, particularly with digital videos, because if we're going to declutter our digital photos, then you have videos mixed in there.
Yeah. They don't come in different formats.
No.
Well, it is a different format, but they're contained in the same device.
Yes. And so, videos we could probably mix in a little bit of videos into this.
Awesome.
If we can remember to do so. So, there's lots of questions to ask yourself, aren't there? So here's a few of them.
And these questions we would suggest you ask yourself, have a listen to them before you start decluttering your photos. And when you get stuck on a photo, go back to some of these questions we'll put in the show notes so that you can actually refer to them as you process.
Yeah. In fact, we may even give a handout or something for this
Ooh,
episode. What do you
we could
reckon?
do that. Handout.
Yeah, like a PDF or something that we could see.
Brilliant idea.
Yeah. I'm
All up for that.
full of brilliant ideas. Okay, here's some questions. Can you name anyone in that photo? Do you remember what the scenery is?
Where you were when you took that photo of the trees.
Yes. How many photos do you need to remember that moment or that holiday or that time? Like how many?
Yeah, went camping with your friends in 1998. Do you need 13 photos?
Do you remember that camping trip
3
in 1998?
Well, maybe that's why you need the photos.
True. And this is a huge part for our clients when we work with them. This is a huge part of photos and sentimental items, but particularly photos is that whole, but if I don't have anything to remember it, how am I going to remember it? How do you answer that?
Well, sometimes we don't remember everything that happens in our lives.
No.
And a lot of people are scared of losing their memory, and also they're not having the photo history that a family member can bring in and say, hey, this is your wedding day, Mum, because maybe you don't remember that anymore, or dementia sets in and you can't remember your grandchildren, and photos can be really helpful. So there's no one way to deal with your photos, but these questions hopefully will help you process as you go.
Yeah, especially this one, like how many photos do I need of that one moment?
Yeah.
Like if you are worried about losing your memory in the future and you want to remember your wedding day, how many photos of you and your husband do you need? I'm not saying you need to get rid of your wedding photos. And this is like with this whole episode, we're not saying you need to get rid of anything. We just want you to be thoughtful and intentional about what you do keep. Another question is, do I want to remember this moment? Go.
Oh, Kirst, I have got rid of so many photos of moments that are not happy. You know, like maybe teenage photos of groups of friends that you fell in with that weren't helpful, and that's not a part of your life that you want to celebrate.
No.
So I've gotten rid of a lot of those photos. Look, there weren't a lot of them, but there were photos
because you had pretty good friends as teenagers.
It's true.
I was there.
You were there.
I watched your friends.
I was pretty good, but there are moments where you go, no, I don't want to remember those. I don't want to keep that photo because that's not...
Yeah, I don't like that ex-boyfriend anymore. I don't actually want to remember him that fondly that I keep a photo of him. So why would I keep a photo? Like, why would I keep that photo of him? That's not to say, though, that you shouldn't keep ugly photos of yourself.
No, sometimes they're the ones that just bring you those joy moments of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I captured this, because nowadays we just delete anything that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
We've got filters for that.
Yeah. And our kids might want to see us as teenagers, and you might want to say to your kids, look how ugly I felt when I felt ugly, but look at me. I wasn't ugly. I was beautiful.
That's right.
I was beautiful, but I didn't feel beautiful when I was 16. So, and also your kids want to, other people might actually enjoy seeing photos of you not looking your best.
Yes.
And that's okay.
That's part of the fun.
And that's part of life. Like, we're not always going to... We weren't always in 2018 when we could filter ourselves to look the best that
Correct.
we could. So be gentle on yourself. But again, doesn't mean you need to keep every single photo of yourself at 15 when you were not feeling your best.
Yeah. And you also, I want to ask a question like, how can I give honour to this photo? And for some photos, that means getting rid of it. And for some photos, that means it doesn't need to be in a shoebox. It needs to be framed and on your wall. So asking that question, how can I give honour to this photo, will also help you in your decluttering and organising of your photographs. Oh, wow. Wow. I actually was going to say photographs, and then halfway through decided to say photos. And I don't even know what that word was.
It was a Jared word.
I don't know what that word was. Right.
Wow.
As you declutter and organise your photographs is what my head wanted to say when my mouth went all disobedient.
So there's a couple of options when it comes to decluttering and organising your photos. You can totally do this yourself, or you could get a professional in. You could get us to come in, or you can outsource it to some amazing companies that are around, like the Filing Fairies.
Yeah, shout out to Mara and the Filing Fairies.
Whose their niche is photos. Like, that's all that they do. They don't come in and do your wardrobe as well. They do your photos. So there's a few more out there that do that.
And both Kirsty and I, if you've got photos in your home and we're decluttering your home, we'll absolutely help you go through that. We're probably not the best people to give us your film and your slides to then scan it into a system to put it all on a hard drive for you.
Yes.
That's not our specialty, but we can absolutely help you declutter and organise them.
Yes, we would love to. And we will put links in our show notes for other people who do that.
Awesome. First rule in decluttering and organising.
Oh, across any room, across anything.
Ever. Declutter first.
Yay.
It might be tempting to organise your photos by date, by location, by era, but it's really, really, really important to declutter them first. On the 31st of December last year, I decided we had nothing planned on New Year's Eve during the day, and we were going out at night. So I went, I'm going to go through and declutter our photos. I thought it was going to be a mammoth job.
Your physical photos or your digital ones?
Physical photos. And we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds because when my kids were little, you printed photos. Like, you couldn't keep them digitally. And so we got them and I went through every photo and I did the declutter first, and I was amazed how many I got rid of, Kirst.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So many.
Yeah. I was with a client recently and he was going through some photos of his parents. Well, his wife and I were doing something else. Piff, 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 piff. Particularly like of parents' photos. Like if you've got all these photos handed down from your parents, if you don't actually remember the people, you don't know who that aunt, like that family friend was.
There's no point.
And your parents aren't around anymore to help you to decipher who those people were. Keep things that are memorable to you and retell those stories to your children they might keep those photos too.
And what you don't have to do is just chuck them in the recycling bin. You might put a Facebook post to all your cousins and say, hey, I've just been through our photos. There's some in there of aunties and uncles and people that I don't know. Would anyone else like to go through them to collect anything they want?
Yeah, brothers and sisters. That's a great idea. But we do want you to gather everything into the one place. And you don't have to gather absolutely every photo. You don't need to set aside a day necessarily to do this. You can go, well, I've only got an hour, so I am going to go through 2018 photos on my computer.
On my phone, where the 40,000 photos. Mine isn't. I go through mine probably every fortnight.
I've got 12,000.
There you go. That's not uncommon.
No, I know it's not.
Yeah. We've made there are a few categories of photos that you may wish to let go of. And these I discovered when I was doing my photo declutter. So Kirsten and I are going to go through them with you and see how many of them will help you declutter photos you don't any longer need. So scenery where you can't remember the location. I had stacks of these, mainly from school camps. We used to get those disposable cameras when we went on school camps. Yeah. And you just take photos of scenery. And then
were you at Hakwa or were you at Forest Edge? Where were you?
No idea.
Yeah, no.
There's just the fern with a little river. So I got rid of every single scenery photo that I couldn't tell you the story around the location.
Yeah.
Or if I had photos of the location with a person in it, I kept that instead.
Yes. Perfect. Group photos where you can't name anyone. Like, as we were talking about, with your parents having a dinner party. And it was before you were even born and your parents are no longer here. Or your, friends from primary school that you may not be in contact with anymore because they're not on Facebook.
Yeah. So we're not telling you have to get rid of these,
No.
remember? We're just wanting to say these are areas that you may wish to let go of. I let go of photos of old partners and old flames from high school, and I think maybe kept just a couple that also signified an important event like a high school graduation or things like that. But I didn't need 50 photos of me and somebody that wasn't my husband from a period from a long, long time ago. So they just went, and it wasn't out of anger or anything, no emotion. It was just, I don't need those anymore.
No, and I've got photos of my old boyfriends because they're part of my story. They're part of how I got to Simon.
Yeah, that's right. But you don't need 100 of them.
No, I do not need 100 of them. May not even need any of them, come to think of it. But it's not saying that I don't need them.
Yeah, just putting it out there.
Yeah. Triples, doubles, quadruples, a million of the same photo.
Same.
Remember?
Yes. We obviously both just had the same thought then. Go.
You go.
No, you go.
Okay, let's see if we're on the same path. When you had a physical camera roll and you weren't sure if you got a good photo, you'd take another photo.
Yeah.
Because it would take you 4 months to finish off that film and then another 2 weeks to get it developed. So it's not instantaneous like it is today.
No, and you weren't sure. You didn't get to check the photo.
No, there was no viewfinder to see if the only viewfinder was where you put your eye up to.
Tiny little hole.
And you put your eye up to it. And you couldn't tell if it was in focus or not necessarily with that So
Yeah.
you took another one.
Took another one. And then when you went and got it developed for an extra 59 cents, you could get a second set of every photo, the duplicate roll.
Yeah, just in case you wanted to give it to somebody in that photo that was in one photo.
You'd pay for the whole lot to be doubled.
Yep. And they go, thanks. Thanks for all these sceneries of Howquer Camp when we were in grade 5.
Do you know how I reckon I got rid of probably 200 duplicates when I was doing my photo declutter? Because I obviously had this really great intention of I'll get duplicates and I'll give them to the people, and just never got round to it.
Yeah.
They all went in the bin. All the duplicates in the bin.
I'll make photo albums, like scrapbooking. You know, we talked a couple of weeks ago about hobbies and crafts, and scrapbooking is still big, but was really big when we actually had photos.
Yeah. Back in the good old days.
Yeah, where you couldn't do digital scrapbooking. And you would go, I'm going to make a photo album for my daughter or for my friend. That would be, I'm going to do it for my BFF so she doesn't have to do it.
Yeah. Back in the good old days.
We're sounding old.
So old. Don't worry.
Was it really the good old days where you had to pay $12 for a film and then $24 to get the film developed?
No.
And then another $2, $5 to get duplicates.
And you came out with maybe 3 or 4 photos that were good.
Was that a good old day?
No, it was not. Good call.
Yeah. Just putting it out there. Hey Amy, you know how we ran the awesome Art of Decluttering course last year? Do you want to do it again this year?
Hey, I was thinking the same thing. We had such an incredible group last year though. Do you think we could ever match that level of awesomeness?
I'm not sure, but I'm totally willing to give it a go. But hey, back up a bit. Let's tell people about what the course is about again.
Well, you know how we help people each and every week in our podcast to declutter a space in their home? Well, our course is a bit different. You don't just get our best tips and tricks for decluttering. We also share with you the secrets of creating a home that is not only decluttered, but stays organised for life.
Our course is for people who want to experience freedom and joy in their homes. It's perfect for you if you want to have a home that is welcoming as well as organised, and where you are free to focus on living your abundant life.
To find out more and register for our upcoming free webinars, visit theartofdecluttering.com.au. We can't wait to have you in our course community this year. Do you have a way in physical photos of remembering the date and location? Have you got a trick that you've used, or do you write on the back of the photo?
I cannot tell you the last time I looked at a physical photo.
See?
Other than in a photo frame that's in a photo frame.
So do you keep physical photos? Do you have some in your house?
Literally can't tell you the last time I printed off some photos.
Oh, no, I can't tell you the last time I did it, but I still have some from when I... Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
They're up in the roof.
Okay.
And so
Deteriorating.
Probably.
Being eaten alive by human giant tarantulas from Sydney.
They're in plastic containers. They're safe. But it is something on my to-do list that Simon keeps encouraging me to get around to. Cal and our procrastinating laziness. Cal, your husband's reformed. I'm not so reformed. So, yes, we've got them in the roof, and I do like writing the date on the back of them when I remember them. I've got an amazing mum and an amazing sister in Jackie. Both my sisters and my sister, everybody in my family is amazing. But Jackie and my mum are amazing uniquely because they have a great memory.
Oh, right.
So they can tell you exactly what happened on that day, where they were, what else happened around there. Me and my other sister, Larissa, not so much.
Yeah, I don't have that gift.
No. So if I was to go through photos, then I wouldn't be able to tell you the date, but I'd probably go, oh, look, I remember that hairstyle. I was 16. So that was
right. Around
1994. 82? Oh, my word. You're so kind to me.
I love you.
I love you too.
We were both alive in 82, but not 16.
Yes. And you just
a
few years.
So we write the date on the back of ours if we've got an individual photo, But if we've got like a bulk of them, say from a kid's birthday party, I put them in a snap-lock bag and I write on the snap-lock bag like Jessie's first birthday party and then seal that up. So if I ever want to grab them, I've just got the whole lot and they can easily happen that way.
That's awesome. We forgot to say the other photo that you could get rid of. Blurry photos.
Oh, please get rid of blurry photos. There's so many of them.
Why?
Don't even.
Why keep them?
Unless it's your only photo of you and your grandpa.
Yeah, keep that one.
It.
But
if
is it
you
really...
want to keep it, but
yes,
maybe somebody
but you're
else
free not to. Because somebody else may have a photo.
That's right.
Of, and that, I mean, that's the other thing, that you can always go to your family members and go, hey, I can't find a photo, or I've got no good photos of me and Granddad. Do you have any photos of me and Granddad? Do you have any photos of just Granddad? Do you have any photos?
Do you know
can I Photoshop me and Granddad together?
Yeah. My husband has been guilty of Photoshopping people into photos for jokes.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I just had this cool thought. It may already be in existence, or if you're a web developer out there, this may be a cool idea for you. How cool would it be to have like an online platform that's open source for photos? So like I would upload my photos, but I can choose who to share them with, but then they can access them just as easily as I can. But it means you can tag, like if I had photos of you, even though they're private, it's like Facebook, but just a photo sharing. And so then in generations,
Like Google Drive.
Kind of.
You can do that in Google.
Can you?
Yeah.
Go for it, Google. Anyway, that was just my I'm
no,
good.
it's
I'm
good.
I'm
no,
good.
But that's really good because that's how you do, especially as families get bigger and bigger.
That's
like,
what I'm thinking.
We're both one of 5 children.
On.
Like, we've got 14 grandchildren in my family.
Yeah.
They're going to have children who are going to have children, and they'll want, they're going to want a photo of their rock star auntie, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like
who did
me.
like that amazing podcast.
Way back in 2018, 17 and 18 and 19 and 20 and 21.
And they'll say, back at the start of the century.
Back at the start of the century. Yeah, right.
They seriously will. I've often thought that. My kids will say, back at the start of the century, my mum, blah, blah, blah. So old.
I know. Well, we were born last century. That's going to be so old.
It is so old.
I think about my granddad who was born last century. Last century.
Yeah. Yeah.
18. Or no, maybe he was born in 1901. Whatever. So people were born last century.
Yeah.
Anyway, off topic again.
Aren't you loving this?
What a fun
We are
episode.
currently sitting in Eltham. Now, I live not far from Eltham and we are in a bushfire zone. So we just want to talk to you.
I was wondering where you were going with this.
Like currently sitting in Eltham, just giving you like a geolocation
Yes.
sense of where we are.
Yes.
And we're in a bushfire zone. So photos are actually really important when it comes to bushfire times of the year. So just make sure you have a plan. I don't really want to tell you what that plan should be. I just want you to have a plan, whether it's you've got digital copies, backups, whether you've got photos ready to go, whether you've got duplicates somewhere. Having a plan is really important because if you have time, if you have to evacuate, if you have time to grab photos, you want to know where they are and what the plan is.
Yes. And there are some, like you can have a hard drive backed up in another location
Correct.
that's out of a fire zone. Or you can store them online digitally.
Exactly.
So, and there's so much to do around photos. Like, this is only scratching the surface. Like, how do we get slides onto digital? How do we turn, Super 8 videos? How do we get them digitally? Like, there's so much more that we could talk about in this topic, and there's so many resources out there that we'll link to some of them. And please share with us if you find more, because we want to hear some of your great tips, and we want to hear some resources that you found that have helped you and your family to gather slides, Polaroids, films, negatives, digital photos, Super 8 videos, like old videos. How do you get them on? How do you get them into a place that everybody can, that you can enjoy them, that you will treasure forever, and that future generations can treasure? So this is just a scratch of the surface. We hope that you've been inspired to at least look at one portion of your photos, whether that's your camera today, your phone today, whether it's your computer, whether it is a physical box like Amy did on New Year's Eve last year, Whether it's like Kirsty's going to do soon and jump up into her roof, get that box down and go through those photos. However it is, we just want to inspire you and encourage you and motivate you to declutter first and then organise in the best way your photos.
Oh, so good, Kirst. And before we finish up, I want to share a Facebook review because we love, love, love it when you leave reviews on iTunes, or as Megan Gascioni, is that how I say it? Gascioni, yeah, I reckon that's right. So Megan, thank you for leaving your Facebook review. It says, love the content, always so relevant. About to go back and re-listen to every single one as it appears I may have to move soon, and despite my best efforts, clutter sneaks in. So Megan, good luck. I hope that we've kept you company. Go back and listen. We would love to hear the new gems that you find as you go through, because sometimes when you listen a second time, you hear and you're ready for new things.
Yep, love it. It's like with anything, though.
Correct.
We're always learning, always growing. I love this life. It's a pretty good life, hey?
It's a pretty good life.
We're so lucky that we get to do life. I'm just going to leave you with that
very
deep
philosophical,
and meaningful philosophical thought on this late afternoon in Melbourne town today, in Eltham.
So, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know what action you've taken out of our podcast tips today. And please, we know there's so many other things out there that we can talk about around photos. So share them with us. Share with us whether you're decluttered or you've organised or you've filed or you've shared or you've celebrated, and how that looks for you.
Also, if you have any ideas for more podcast episodes, please let us know. We have tons of ideas, but we love getting ideas from our listeners like Kate gave us today for this topic. So hit us up with your topics and we would love to consider doing a topic on your passion or something that you're struggling with in your home. So hit us up. We'll get onto it.
Have a great week.
See ya.
Bye. Thanks for joining us. If you've learnt something awesome today, do a friend a favour and share this episode so they too can learn the art of decluttering. You can find me, Amy, over at simplyorganised.net or on Facebook as Simply Organised PO.
You can find me, Kirsty, over at feelslikehome.net.au or on Facebook as Feels Like Home PO. Don't forget, you can see the show notes in your podcast app or over at our website, theartofdecluttering.com.au. So if there's anything you want more info on, check it out there. If you love what you hear, we'd really appreciate you leaving a review on iTunes.
We hope you've enjoyed listening and that you've learnt some tips to help you declutter and keep your home organised.
If you'd like to join our supporter community, you can do so over at patreon.com/theartofdecluttering.
We hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy the freedom.